Welcome to Seminar Sunday, District 21's weekly webinar series. It's great to have you this evening on the line. Tonight we're covering off telling the world about Toastmasters, or more specifically, your club, and how you can make sure that everyone in your community or organization knows all about Toastmasters. And there's lots of different things that you can do to make sure that everybody knows your club exists and what it represents. This is part of a weekly series of webinars that we cover off. The next several weeks are now displaying on your screen. Hopefully some of those topics interest you, and you can come on to the d21toastmasters.org website and register anytime for those sessions. And if you can't catch a session, we do also record and store a video library of all of these webinars on the YouTube channel for District 21 Toastmasters. With our Public Relations Manager for District 21, Virginia Keast, and she's going to start us off talking about some of the ideas and concepts that she has from a public relations perspective. Virginia?
Hey, thank you, Michael, and good evening, everyone. I'm not sure who is here from District 21 or around. Tonight's focus will be certainly what we're doing here in District 21 for the second part of the year, but open to all kinds of questions and comments and any advice or wisdom that anyone has to share as we work through this next little while. For the second half of our Toastmaster year, the district wants to help you reach out to the community during the month of February, particularly, but even beyond, for this second exciting term. And one of our focuses, because we were very much focused on club relations in the first half of the year, now we want you to look outward. So look out to the rest of the world, and particularly from my perspective, let's look at our media. So particularly our community media, as we all know that our clubs are local. We've got over 140 clubs in our district and they all have a community. And community media loves those local stories. So what we're hoping we're going to do is help you reach out to your community media this February and get at least one story in your local media. Maybe even more. Maybe it'll even grow. Who knows? And to do that, we're going to use a combination. Oops. I'm way behind here in slides. I'm just wondering, Michael, maybe you can help me out here. Is this this would be my general slide. Here we go. So we're going to use a combination of public relations and marketing and good old face-to-face connections, because they're always the very best. And we're going to use a number of key tools. You can see them roughly there. We're hoping to get a proclamation from the government of BC any day now that's going to officially announce that February is Toastmasters Month in BC, as it may be in a lot of places around the Toastmasters world. And we're going to use some marketing tools, such as an invitation card that you can hand out at events and make a personal connection. And on the back of that card, we'll have the information for your local clubs. And the other thing we're going to do is have ads in our community newspapers running in the first week of February. And they're going to promote Toastmasters Month, but they're also a really great tool to help you leverage your editorial requests. So when the newspapers see an ad in the paper, they also tend to look a little bit closer when you ask to have a story. So we'll be talking about pitches and news releases a little bit later on too. So it all starts with having a plan and a really good idea. So what interests the media? Your stories, certainly. And February is a great month to do that. There's a number of reasons. February, of course, we're going to make it Toastmasters Month. And that's a good reason. That's a really good hook for the media when you want to share your story and let the world know about what you're doing. It's a great conversation opener. So we hope we're going to get that in the next week, but certainly in the next 2 weeks, and it'll be coming out to everybody digitally. The other thing about February is it starts our amazing contest season. And everyone knows that the World Championships of Public Speaking are the biggest public speaking contest in the world. And that's another great hook, that this contest goes down through a number of levels through the entire organization. And it starts at club level, and that begins in February. And that's also a great reason to go to the media and to go out to the community to invite them to come and see your contest. And there's a brand new element, hot off the presses at the end of last week, called the wow factor. And I'm going to leave that to Michael to talk to you about at the end of our session here. So having said that, it's contest season, it's Toastmasters Month. Oh yeah, and it's Valentine's Day. So that's another great reason. I mean, everybody's in a really good mood in February. So a great time to go out to your community. And just before we get going any further, I'd like to tell you about a page that we've just started on our website. It's called TM Resources. And it's the beginning. It's an evolving page, but I'm hoping to layer it with all kinds of resource links for you. So those will be links to branding manuals, PR manuals. There will be media outreach tips. There'll be lots of ways to look at promoting your club. Got this one great document, care of another amazing website, another Toastmaster website, an entrepreneurial Toastmaster with hundreds of membership building ideas, literally. So I'm sure you can find a couple in there. And also some key tips on your websites. If you don't have a website, it's your ultimate tool these days to let people know what you're doing and to draw people to your meetings. So having said that, let's move on and look at PR and marketing. And I always like to stop here and really think about the difference between PR and marketing. I'm from the PR side. So most of my life has been on that side, you know, giving the message through the media, through news and public affairs. So I tend to look at it from the public relations side as third-party credibility. So you get other people, you build relationships, you build trust with other groups. Often the media is a key group that you build trust with. You send them really interesting stories. They are accurate stories. You've got good spokespeople. So you have someone else saying, oh yeah, trust me, he's a great lover. And you benefit, right? Marketing, on the other hand, and the products and services that are involved with marketing, you have your own message and you're the one who relays that out. And you're definitely in control of that message, but it may not be true. Here you're saying, I'm a great lover. Now in advertising, very, very similar. You've got in control of your message and you're paying a fair bit for that. But you get to know that you have a certain reach and you're reaching out to a certain audience. So you get to put out that message as often as you like. I'm a great lover, I'm a great lover, I'm a great lover. But, you know, is it true? We'll find out. That's where public relations helps. And of course, there's branding. And that always is super important when you look at the end result as you're working through all these channels of communication. Is it working? Is your brand working? And your brand is very different from your image. I mean, your brand is all the things, all the visual looks and sounds that you put out there that describe who you are. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and the Toastmaster brand at the later on in our seminar as well. But for now, it's all those pieces that you say are about yourself. And then the receiver goes, oh yeah, I understand you're a great lover. Now, if your image is right, then that's a good thing. Because image is not always the same as the brand that you're putting out there. So I really like this little cartoon. I don't know if everyone else does, but it always really speaks to me. And the whole idea is that there are three different kinds of media. The earned media, which is public relations. You go out there and you build relationships and other people speak well of you. There's your owned media, which is your website and your social media. And of course, you have your community that you build in there. And those are your messages that you share with your community. And then there's the bought media, which is the advertising. And nowadays, that's kind of a bit confusing because it's often used with Facebook in terms of boosting your posts, so it becomes quite complicated. But there are those three different pieces, and they all work together to create your brand story. Now, as we reach out, we have to have a plan, because in PR you always have at least a simple plan. And I'm hoping to keep this very, very simple for everyone. It's not just for VPPRs. Hopefully the whole club will be involved in reaching out to your community in the next month and beyond as well. But a plan really helps. And there's some very key steps. One is to know who you are. That was the essence of the success plans that we did earlier in the year, is to get to know what your club is and how unique it is, and the kinds of people who would enjoy the atmosphere that your particular club has. So it's important to know that. Once you know that, and you know your community, then you want to identify your bigger community, and that's your audience. And we're looking at all those people in the community who may not know about Toastmasters, or who may not really know what a great organization it is. And so we're going to spend February, hopefully, just letting them know that. In order to do that, you've got to identify your key messages, right? And that's always a tricky thing. It sounds really easy, but have you ever got tongue-tied when someone comes up to you and goes, "Oh, Toastmasters, what's that?" So it's always really great to identify a few of your stories, a few of the messages that you'll use in your stories. And there are lots of resources for that. I keep thinking of the Toastmaster branding manual, and it not only has incredible information about your logo and the tagline and the word mark and the fonts and the colors, but it also talks to you about your messaging. And although Toastmasters are amazingly fine storytellers, it's really great to have those key points and to have your own personal stories in the back pocket so that you know how to talk to anybody you might meet on the street, or even if you're interviewed one day by the media. Once you have your key messages, then you need a simple strategy, what you're going to do. And in February, we're all going to be really busy, so we want to keep that strategy really simple. And along with that strategy, we want to have manageable tactics and tools. So just a few things that we're going to do, and a few tools we're going to use, and a simple timeline to get us through the month. So just wondering, is everybody on board here? If you've got any questions, please let me know. I'll let Michael look after all the questions, and we'll see how we're going. Yeah, everyone is pretty quiet. Let's move along. Okay, now we get to a key piece. As I was saying, you have those messages in your back pocket. And one of the great tools that I really like is the idea of the elevator pitch. And I'm sure you've heard that, right? And I've seen it done before when I had a conference and you don't have much time and you're trying to reach the people who are the key influencers, and you get on the elevator with them. And you have to go from the main floor up to the, the cocktail hour on the 31st floor. So you've got a little bit of time. And that's where you want to reach in your back pocket and have that message, right? What is your elevator pitch? So a typical length of an elevator pitch can vary depending on how long the conversation is and whether it's a one-time only exchange or whether you're going to meet this person again. But it's always great to have that short pitch, because the key reason is to interest someone and want them to know more about who you are. So if we're talking about Toastmasters, what could that be? If you've got a 1-minute pitch, it might be something like, "Oh wow, did you know about Toastmasters? Well, since 1924, that's almost 100 years ago, Toastmasters has been known as the leading organization for developing communication and leadership skills around the world. It's got a network of clubs around the world, over 16,000, and each week it helps more than 300,000 men and women of every ethnicity and education level to build their confidence in communication. And that gives them all a common goal, which is to gain confidence to lead others. And hopefully, something like that is going to pique the interest of the person you're talking to. I'm sure they'll have questions. And then you can continue it from there. So the branding manual in Toastmasters has some great ideas about doing this. So you've got some messages, you've got your elevator pitch, you're thinking about your own stories, what you've done in Toastmasters that would add to your pitch. Now you've got to think of some of the tools that you're going to use to reach out with. And the news release is a really key tool. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be long. I'm looking at that news release that I posted here from Toastmasters. And it's pretty long. The idea of a news release is just to pique someone's interest and to give them a really clear idea of what it is you want and what it is you're trying to pitch to them. And so they often say, have those 5 W's, the where, what, how, why, how, when. And it doesn't need to have them all, but it has to give a really good idea of your story and what it is you want them to know. So it often includes a quote, which is the way you get around having no adjectives in your press release. Because journalists are busy people. They just want to get to the facts. They want to know what it is. But a quote can be a lot more colorful. So maybe that's a quote from your president, who's just talking about your club culture, how old your club is, and how dynamic your meetings are, and how much fun you like to have. Or maybe it's from a past Toastmaster or an influencer in your community who has a testimonial that they might give about your club or what Toastmasters has done for them. So a quote's always a good piece to put in. Another thing to add is some background material, but not too much. Toastmasters offers some great fact sheets, or you may want to include a few things about your own club. But therein lies the essence of the news release. It's the tool you use to reach out and to also give that important pitch to the media. Just let you stand out. One of the things I'd like to bring up as well is once you send out your release, remember to follow up to see if it was received. So don't wait too long, maybe an hour or two, and just either email or call. A phone call is always best, and just see if the editor or the news desk received your email. And if so, that's a great opportunity to say, yeah, I'm so glad. Have you had a chance to read it? If not, just wanted to bring out that we're having an event this month, and we'd love to have you come out, or we'd love to send you a photo afterwards and tell you all about it. So it's a great opportunity when you reach someone on the telephone to even take that pitch one step further. So our strategy for apart from the news release is also a couple of marketing pieces. And those pieces, let's just see, I'm just going to catch myself up here. They're going to involve a proclamation. And that proclamation will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, and you'll be receiving it. And it's a great hook for when you actually go out to the media. You can say, build upon that fact that Toastmasters is a great organization all throughout the month, but all throughout the year, but in February we like to celebrate it. One of the other things we're going to be doing in the district is giving you invitational cards in the shape of postcards that you can hand out at events, and we're going to have an ad in that first week throughout the community newspapers or select community newspapers to just help push the idea of Toastmasters Month. Now, about this I Love PR campaign, just want to talk briefly about that. We're really hoping that you're going to share your stories when you get them, either sending them to us or posting them on Facebook, sharing them with your club, putting them on your website, just so everybody can see that you've been reaching out to the community. And one little point as well is that our Toastmaster headquarters loves to see as well, because they're always proud of our clubs when they get coverage in the local news. So please do post on Facebook and keep us all alerted. Or if you're, you have a success story, other people can learn from that as well. The ad that's going out in that first week is targeted for a lot of newspapers in communities that may really need some help in marketing their clubs. So we've been looking at more the remote clubs, the clubs that are further out, but not necessarily so. There are clubs, in the bigger communities too that need help. So we'd like to hear from you and see which communities, which clubs are really interested in having this ad and how you think it's going to help you. There are the cards again, and we've been working with division leaders and hopefully area leaders just to make sure all the information is accurate, and they'll go in the back of the card and you'll be able to hand these out when you actually have an event and really want to make that face-to-face connection, just to make sure. You'll notice that it has the location, but also the date and time that you meet, which is always good when people go home and they go, okay, when were those people meeting again? So with that kind of gives you an overview of all the things we're going to be doing in February in terms of reaching out media-wise and using various marketing tools to help us do that. And I think that at this time, Michael's going to step in and talk a little bit about a couple of other campaigns. Michael.
Thank you very much, Virginia. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the My Why campaign as well. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's a challenge that World Headquarters has put out to all of us as Toastmasters in the last number of months to really give an overview of what our story in Toastmasters is. Why did we join? Why are we still here? What are the benefits? Essentially, if any of you have seen the features, benefits, and values document that Toastmasters International has produced, and if you haven't, please have a look at it. You really want to share with people what are they going to get out of that. And by having a short video with the hashtag MyWhy, that's really going to give people an overview of what's in it for them and why they should become a Toastmaster. One of the interesting things is we talked a fair bit about this over the weekend. The district leadership team was just with leaders from different parts of Canada and the United States for training, and there was a bit of a lack of understanding around the room. And luckily, we were in direct contact with World Headquarters staff throughout the weekend, and they kind of kept us straight about it, because the idea with this campaign is that you would make a video, and this is supposed to be less than a minute long. That's the one thing that nowadays people don't have the patience to watch a 10 or 15 minute video, particularly about something that perhaps they don't believe they're interested in. But a 1 minute bite-sized video can be really easy to digest. You just go in, you watch it, and you've only lost a minute. So that's why the timing is really important. But also, you don't use the video to post to your district Facebook page or your club's Facebook page. People are already interested in that point. The idea of this is that you would post it on your own social media platform in order to create interest within your contacts. So that could be a Facebook page, that could be a LinkedIn, could just simply be your YouTube page, could be really anywhere that you have people that are connected with you in some way, shape, or form. What's going to happen then is, ideally, those people are going to come to you and say, hey, that's really cool. I want to be part of this. And then you're able to bring them to your club, or of course, if they're somewhere else around the world, you can perhaps refer them to a club that's local to themselves. So this is just a really easy, free way to let people know about your club, and it's so much fun. They actually played a video of someone that attended our training, and it was just such a touching story, so well done. I will admit it was done with professional cameras at the International Convention in Chicago, so the quality is likely much higher than you or I would create unless you have professional video equipment. But the story is what I really appreciate about it, is just how genuine she comes across. And her name is Maria. So if you search YouTube for Maria Toastmasters My Why, you'll see that video. And you can also see Lark Doley, our international president, has done one as well. So you could get some inspiration and ideas through what they've done. We were offered the chance to go to the room next to the room we were being trained in to do a My Why, and I haven't had a chance to do one yet. It's interesting to formulate how I would say things. I think I've got this perception in my mind that if we're making a video, we want it to be like really succinct and smooth and all those other things. You know, it's funny when we do things like this webinar or get up and do a speech, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to be perfectly smooth for the whole, 10 minutes or whatever, but I kind of have a higher expectation of myself in 1 minute. But really, I think if you look at several of the videos, you'll see varying qualities, and just being true to yourself is probably more important than actually making it perfect, because if people see every one of those My Whys is just super, smooth and edited to the point of perfection, then that can be intimidating, much like guests coming to your club and seeing, all really good speakers. They're kind of like, whoa, I'm scared to stand in front of an audience, and all of you are, world-class speakers. Same idea. So that's inspired me to get working on that a little bit sooner, perhaps, than me dragging my heels like I have been. So I encourage you as well to really think about posting a video, put in that hashtag #MyWhy. Does anybody have any questions about this campaign or anything else that we've covered so far this call? It's been unusually quiet in the chat lines there, and I'm happy to hear ideas or thoughts, or perhaps if you've already posted your My Why, you've got a link you could share to it just so other people could also indulge in it. I'm just typing in as well the YouTube search that you can do to find Maria's. She's an amazing lady from District 9. She's actually the program quality director this year, and she just, like I said, the story is inspirational. So I encourage everyone to, after the webinar, perhaps go and check that out. It's 37 seconds in length. Thanks, Sean. That's actually a really good question. And this slide that I have up is actually a screenshot of what the sign looks like. So I didn't include that aspect of it, so thank you for that reminder again. What you do is you actually go to Toastmasters.org to get a template for the sign. And what I mentioned, the whole 1 minute video. So you record a 1 minute or less video. At the end of the video, you hold up a sign that says, well, first of all, you say, and that's my why. Then you hold up a sign that has the hashtag my why on a piece of paper, or hold up the sign on your phone. There is a sign you can download on the Toastmasters.org website. So you would go to Toastmasters.org/mywhy, and from there you can download a sign that's got it with the branded colors and everything for your convenience. Again, thank you, Sean, for pointing that out. That was something that I just got so excited about the campaign that I completely forgot the template to use. Okay, well, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to continue typing them or submit them at any time. I absolutely love when people have, questions. It gives us a chance to dive a little deeper into topics, and I don't want to get too deep into some of them, but if I'm skimming somewhere and you want to hear more, or if something excites you and you also want to learn a little bit more, then please don't hesitate to speak up. The other thing that we've got happening right now is the Wow Factor project. Club presidents received an email from our international president earlier this month announcing the launch of this brand new campaign. It is, the idea is, we're going back to what Virginia was saying earlier. There is a branding element, and there's also just a quality element to the Toastmasters program. When you go into a Toastmasters club, you expect some sort of similar experience no matter which club you visit, whether it's down the road from you or on the other side of the world. So this Wow Factor project is all focused on essentially running quality meetings, because that's really what's going to lead to exactly that, a wow, and also a consistent experience. But in order to make that consistent experience really happen, your branding has to be on par. The details of exactly how this works, and also a common question I've been asked already is how this is different from Moments of Truth. First, we have to understand branding. Now, the interesting thing with branding is I have these logos up on the screen, and this is the logo don'ts, what you shouldn't do with the Toastmasters International logo. But a brand is not the logo. A brand is far more than that. A brand is an identity, it's who we are, why we matter, and it includes visual elements like our logo or our name and everything else we do, but it also includes our experiences. So that is, first of all, just setting kind of the stage there in terms of branding. It's not just this logo. It's so much more. And that's why it's important for us to reflect on that. How is our club representing the brand? Getting back to particularly the experience side of things. Through the course of the weekend, just referring back to it, we actually had a whole session on branding, and it was very exciting. As strange as that may sound to some of you, that was exciting. It was, because it was a good reflection for all of us on our use as members, as clubs, as districts, how we use the Toastmasters International brand and what that is telling others about who we are. And I think this is really important to understand if we're going to tell the world about our club, because you don't want to have, let's say, a club across the street telling everybody that Toastmasters is a social club where you sit around and play cards, and you're trying to tell the same audience, no, Toastmasters is actually a global leader in communication and leadership training. Those are two completely different messages. And even if you're not saying that, if you're saying the same thing, but in practice you're doing those things that I just referred to, then you're perhaps leading people down the wrong path and giving the wrong message about what we are and why we matter. So that was, like I said, it was an incredible exercise, because we were able to go through and talk about emotional connections as well, or how we connect with certain brands. So an example of that would be, you may have a strong opinion on Honda versus Toyota. You may have a strong opinion on Coke versus Pepsi. These were some of the things that came up over the weekend as direct kind of feelings that we would have towards a particular brand, and that we would always go back to that one product. So we want the Toastmasters to be the same thing, that people know Toastmasters is an educational organization focused on developing communication and leadership skills and how that's going to benefit the individual. A lot of people, when asked and giving that 1-minute elevator speech, may say something along the lines of, oh, well, Toastmasters is a not-for-profit organization, da, 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 da. Why does it matter that we're not-for-profit? What is important is we're a communication, leadership, educational organization, and this is what we can offer you. So just consider that in all of your advertisements for your club, because that's really going to help to ensure we're giving a consistent experience no matter where we go. It's just like a McDonald's. If you go and grab a Big Mac in the US and you go grab a Big Mac in, I don't know, let's say Greece, you're going to get the same burger, perhaps made with local or not local ingredients, but the taste and experience should be quite similar. Same with Toastmasters. A club down the road, the other side of the world, should be the same experience. So that leads us back to the My Why. Sorry, going back. There we go. Or sorry, the WOW project. So the idea of the WOW Factor project is that you are going to take an assessment in early 2019, so anytime you can do it. It's in the January 2019 Toastmaster magazine. It's also available on the web and email to all the club presidents with the link to go and take essentially a survey. And it is very similar to the survey that you would take when you do the Moments of Truth. Some of the language is switched up and changed, but it is important to think about the quality of your club. So branding is one element, but also, are you greeting guests as they come in? Are you pairing them up with someone that is going to be able to support them through their first meeting, give them the information they need, answer their questions, give them that elevator speech that really sells them on the benefits to them. Too often we get a guest in and we just give them the basics of, here's what Toastmasters is, here's what it offers, but we forget the importance of asking questions and saying, hey, what brought you through the door? Oh, well, I've started a new position and I'm really looking to climb the ladder in my organization. Oh, well, that's great. Toastmasters can make you a better speaker. Oh, whoa, back up here. This person's looking to climb the ladder. So they may be interested, yes, in potentially getting better at speaking, but they're also likely interested in the leadership side. Opposite side of the coin, let's say they want to be a professional speaker. Well, Toastmasters doesn't have a program to be a professional speaker, so it's not something that can express track you necessarily to be a professional speaker, but you'd focus your conversation more on the communication skills that you may be able to acquire through the Toastmasters program. You may mention that there's a leadership track or leadership option, but they don't necessarily need to have a deep understanding of that. They just need to know what's relevant to their needs and why this program is for them. So by considering what you're doing on the quality side, that's really what's going to drive the increase to membership and the additional exposure to you. And if you've got that good reputation through your community, through your organization, that reflects back to the press as well. And when rumors about how great you are, or facts really about how great you are, make their way over to your local newspaper or television or radio, whoever it happens to be, then they're going to feature you more easily than if you are not well known. So there is several clubs in our district that I know have vast amounts of success in achieving different levels of promotions, and that all leads back to the relationship with folks in the newspaper and the reputation in the community, quite frankly. So that's just something to consider very carefully, and I encourage you, all of you, to take advantage of the checklist that's available on the Toastmasters.org website. I will put the link in the chat as well here, just a moment. And just to let you know, if for some reason you lose the link or anything, it is in the January 2019 magazine. You can fill it out in the physical magazine itself, or you can also go onto the online version of the website, and from there, download it. And Sean says, wow, yeah, absolutely. So please go out there, have a look at what different things you can do to make your club a golden experience, as Lark Doley says. I know that should resonate with all of us. We want all of our members, and that means ourselves then, to have a really good experience in our clubs, and therefore acquire new members and guests and kind of keep that cycle going. It's something that was discussed in detail this weekend as well, about the importance of having quality, and of course you need quantity to have quality, and all those other things, and really good public relations practices, good awareness of the program that you offer, good elevator speeches, etc. These all build to be a great experience for our guests and our new members. So with that, I am curious, who has questions, whether it be about the wow factor, whether it be about the my why, whether it be about anything else, any of the other initiatives that are going on. We've got Toastmasters Month coming up in, what is this, 11, just a couple of weeks. How can we help you?
Hey, Michael, it's Virginia here.
Yes, Virginia.
Yeah, one of the, I just like to bring everyone's attention as well on the resource page. When we had our district officer training, Sean shared this amazing documents, hundreds of ideas on how you can generate not only awareness, but really great events and bring people to your meetings, right? Which also generates interest in the larger community and eventually the media as well. And it's just fun just browsing through those. I hope people will take the time to go to the resource page and download that. You know, there's some great ideas. There's, ideas like taking your show on the road to a location like a library or retirement community. And you can often get that group to help you promote your appearance, right? And of course, invite guests. And of course, invite the media. It's always great when you have an event as you're building a relationship with your local press. Just send along an invitation. And if you've got a little blurb about the event, send that along too. And that's how you grow that quality relationship. I would say you could send out, I don't want to say press releases, because everybody thinks of a media release as quite a big piece of writing. But often it's just a paragraph, just to let them know those 5 W's. And it could be your club anniversary. It could be Toastmasters October anniversary. It could be an open house that you're having or a demo meeting. So there's all kinds of reasons to share with your local media. And this particular document, the hundreds of ideas, is a lot of fun as you read through. So I hope people will go and check that out on our website.
Absolutely. And I do see a question here from Karen, who is asking, the February is Toastmasters Month around the world. Cards look pretty good. Will these be handed out at the officer training?
No, they're not going to be handed out at officer training. They are going to be handed out early in February. We're working on them right now. And so they should be ready for any of the big events in February. And they will definitely come through your division and area leaders. So you will be getting them. But we'd really like to get a sense of what some of those events are going to be. These cards, of course, we can only print out a certain number. And sometimes they go through the system and kind of get left on members' dressers and that kind of thing. We want these things to get really handed out and handed into other people's hands who can use them. And so, yeah, we really want to get them to you. They won't be ready for next week for the training. They could be ready for training, makeup training in February for sure. So we will get them to you as soon as we can get all the updated information on the back of them, Karen.
And I think the actual February's Toastmasters Month ones are more for the papers, the promotions in the papers.
Yes, the actual ad is going into the paper, but the actual card, I think maybe that's what she was looking at, is an amazing handout. It's that personal connection that you make when you're shaking someone's hand, and you leave that with them, right? And just say, remember, this is where you may not be at a meeting, right? You may be at a special open house or in the mall at a kiosk or somewhere, maybe at an event in the library. And so it's a really great reminder piece, and we hope to make it colorful and conversational.
Absolutely.
The other thing we have as well, just I'll mention on the PR resources page, is we're going to have templates that people can easily download. And I know you can get some of these things through the Toastmaster website, but it's a very big website and sometimes you get lost. So if you just come to the District 21 resources site and scroll down, we'll have some local templates that you can pop down. And some of these actually have been given to us and shared by other districts, which is wonderful because there's so much creativity out there. And so it'll just, help. It's there to help you also print out materials to share with your community.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that I was just going to quickly mention is now I've lost my train of thought. Goodness. Day and a half here, boy. I had a great thought, I swear. It doesn't happen often. Every now and then I have a good thought. I think I was going to mention pathways as well, because I think this is another barrier that we run into from time to time with the club quality side of things and the guests, which we want to make sure that whenever we get a guest walking through our door, that not only do they feel comfortable with the people and the environment, but also just what would happen if they became a member. They want to feel comfortable that there's going to be the club mission is going to be provided to them, essentially is what so the supportive and positive learning environment that's going to enhance their communication and leadership skills. And hopefully everybody has that club mission memorized. Well, maybe not, but it is very important to make sure that we do offer that experience for our members. So if somebody walks through the door, let's say, and you talk about that new program we have, Pathways. Most people in this club don't use that program, but you're going to use it. That's another thing that's really not necessarily something you actively think about, but that is taking away the quality of the program, because from a new member or guest perspective, there is no new program. It's the program. So just things like that, watching your language when you do get somebody in as a guest, to make sure that they feel like they're joining and becoming part of the club and not part of something where they're working something completely different from others. Even if the other members of the club, let's say everybody else is still working on the traditional program, which hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully there's some other people that are comfortable with Pathways and can bring them along. But that doesn't have to be highlighted and explained to a guest. If we just focus on, here's what you get as a new member. You're going to get access to this base camp system. You'll be able to do a quick quiz. It's going to suggest to you some paths. You're going to pick which path you want. And in 4 speeches, you'll get your first award. Done. Easy as that. It's not something that we should overcomplicate or make our guests feel like they're somehow going to be different. They want to feel like they're going to be part of us, not a kind of a branch off of us. And with that as well, I know this webinar is all about letting the world know about your club, but these are other things that you just need to be aware of, I think, as you go around promoting and letting people know. There is a new path coming out on February 5th, and that is Engaging Humor, I believe is the name of the path, which is it's our first path since the rollout of Pathways. And it is launching around the world, as far as I understand, February 5th, and that came directly from the Chief Member Engagement and Support Officer of Toastmasters International. So from a very reliable source who works, she reports directly to the CEO of the organization. So that is really good news as well for those clubs that perhaps aren't as serious of an atmosphere, or for other members of your club who do want to focus more on communication. That's another kind of sales point that you can utilize to benefit your club as guests walk in the door. And that's not far away, February 5th either. Anybody have any other questions? Usually quiet audience. Said that already earlier. Virginia, you had a question?
No questions really. Lots of thoughts. I think it's an exciting month. I think February is a time when everybody's kind of tired of their New Year's resolutions, and they're looking forward to the spring, and often they're thinking about themselves and reviewing what it is they need. And there's tons of stories for us to tell and share with them.
Yeah.
One of the great things about Toastmasters meeting is there's anything you do, really, you can share somehow, whether you have it in your own social media or whether you send it to your local paper. There's a ton of amazing things that happen at our meetings, right? And all worth sharing for sure. Sometimes, in fact, Michael, journalists are very busy these days, and they're overworked and underpaid, and they have a lot to do, and they have a huge email list, of course. But if you send them a photo from an event with a really clear description and a caption for the photo, identifying the people in the photo, they will often run the photo because they are very interested in community news. And so although they may not be able to come out, they'll certainly, if there's space in the newspaper, they'll cover it. Now, you want to be careful about the photo that you send. You want it to be high resolution. You want it to be a photo where you can see what people are doing. It's great if it's got a photo where someone is doing something, so not just a static wide shot of a group. But local media loves those photos. And journalists, although they can't come out to your events or cover them, they can certainly write up about them if everything is clear and concise. So that's just another piece of advice. When you have an event, take a photo of it. Or if you have a particularly lively meeting, take a photo of it. Maybe there was a particular award that night and someone got a special award. That's news in your community.
And one of the other things I was going to mention is something we completely forgot here, and that is some local publications. Coffee News is one that comes to mind that's in a lot of communities around BC. They offer free promotion of events. You just need to submit it to them, and they're willing to put it in. So, I mean, if it's free, then really there's no loss to you at all. I mean, worst case scenario is you don't get a guest out of it, but best case scenario is you're going to have, a number of guests come, and particularly if you do that a number of times. And I know I mentioned this on the webinar earlier this month on public relations, the idea of calling some of your meetings open houses. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to do something super special. It can be just as simple as, you call it an open house, and, maybe if you put out some light refreshments or something, if you want to make a little bit of an event out of it. Maybe you switch up your agenda just a bit to make it fun for the members as well. But that one title you slap on a meeting all of a sudden looks differently to a guest. It seems more open and approachable. And I don't know why that is, because, most clubs that I see promoted, they say, hey, you can come any Wednesday, for example, and visit our club. For some reason, some people, particularly, I guess, extra shy people, they need that extra little push of, hey, it's also an open house. And I think they feel a little bit more like, okay, I'm just going to blend in with the other guests type thing when open house comes up. So use that to your advantage, that you can get people in with an open house, run them regularly, and have, get the members excited about it. And then you also have a higher quality meeting because people will be even more engaged through the process. I can't talk enough about how cool open houses are. And if you do want to make it special, you can invite, a dignitary. And once again, it doesn't have to be, the international president. You're flying her in from Texas or something. It can be as simple as, hey, area director, can you come and help us out? Or division director, or even one of the core leadership team, having one of us come to one of your meetings. There's no rules against inviting anybody to your meeting. You can have people come to your meeting. So that is just an added kind of, we have, this person coming, and, they're going to do a speech on leadership or on whatever the topic is that your club wants to explore. I think it really adds a lot of value. And Sean's asking to be invited now. I just love that, Sean. All right, way to beat around the bush. Sean wants to be invited, so invite Sean to your club. But absolutely, I would love to be invited to some clubs as well. I haven't received any invites, I don't think, to clubs. No, sorry, I have been invited to one club, but I would certainly welcome more. And, of course, I can't make every club meeting for sure, but I can absolutely try my best to get to your club if that's of interest to you. And I know Sean is listening to this call. She would probably be the same, and possibly even Virginia. I don't like speaking for people, but I'm making the assumption. Let's see.
Yeah, that dinner meeting sounds good.
Right. That's a comp talk, though, so we'd have to go over to Richmond, but that's okay. We like Richmond. And that is dinner meeting on Wednesday. Well, if I can get back on the boat by 9 p.m., maybe. But yeah, we'd love to, Amy. Any way we can support your club and have a lot of fun, then we'd love to be involved. And the same goes for everyone else's clubs. I mean, it's not always easy, because the reality is we live in a geographically large district. We span Vancouver Island all the way over to Cranbrook, and that is a day's worth of travel between the 2 points, quite frankly. But it is it's important to us to support you, and we get a reward too, in the sense of we see your success. At least that's how I feel about it. And this organization is something we're very lucky to be part of, and I hope you would agree that we've all got some benefit out of it. So share that with the world. Make the world know how cool Toastmasters is and all the skills that we develop, whether we're serving in our clubs or just in roles like we have here at kind of serving District 21, and being able to meet people from all across the world who all share similar thoughts to us, quite frankly. I mean, that's the one cool thing about Toastmasters, is we're all kind of in the mindset of self-development, which is really cool. Celine, thanks for the request for the copy of the proclamation. I believe we're still waiting for the one from the province of British Columbia. That is supposed to come anytime now. I know we were working with District 96, who are our counterparts for the other half of British Columbia.
Yes, we are waiting with bated breath. It should be very soon.
Yes. So as soon as we have it, it will be sent out and made available to everyone digitally to use any way that works best for you. On that note, though, please still feel free to reach out to your municipalities, particularly if you are in a slightly smaller municipality where the turnaround time could be fast as well. It's probably, if you're going to apply now, it could be too late for a community like Abbotsford, for example. Although it's worth the try as well. I mean, you could contact them and say, hey, could you even make a week, Toastmasters Week in Abbotsford, anything to utilize to promote Toastmasters in the community. And it is 8 o'clock. That went by quick. Is it really 8 o'clock, or is my clock really just wrong?
It's 8.
Time flies when we have fun. So please, if anybody has any other questions, reach out to us. I'll put my contact information up on the screen, and I can kind of filter you out to whoever you need to contact. If you're looking for somebody else, we're always happy to help and support you. And I want to thank everybody for joining this call. Best of luck for Toastmasters Month for you and your club. And we will see you on an upcoming Seminar Sunday. Thanks, everybody.